So in this video, I'm going to walk you through something that has been extremely pivotal to my success in the e-commerce industry and other entrepreneurial endeavors that I've actually taken on. And it's something conceptual, but a really important realization of what it takes to get to that next level. And this is actually something that came up in my paid community, my Ecom Blueprint community, where I help e-com entrepreneurs grow to their first 10K, 15K, 30K, all the way up the chain to 100K per month. We mentor and help them through our program and personal mentoring services as well. But this came up in the community and it was actually spurred by someone who said that they were going on holiday and what they should do and how they felt about actually taking a break and going on a holiday. And so the concept or the realization I'm going to be talking through in this little video is essentially what is normal, how we should or shouldn't be feeling, and how that either positively or negatively impacts on your success trajectory. And so if you're like me, where you came out of the traditional school to university to corporate job world, get a good job, work out the channel, then you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about here. And if you've always been an entrepreneur, you may not understand this, but there might be some level of resonance with it. So hopefully it'll be valuable for you. So when I did come out of the corporate world, that was sort of 13, 14 years ago almost now, I would say for at least 2 years almost, I had a level of underlying guilt that I should be doing something more standard, traditional, normal, let's call it. And that really played upon my mind and what I did in terms of my action and how fast I was able to progress given those normalities or lack of normalities, let's call it. And for, those couple of years, it was really challenging because, you people around me would be taking 2 weeks here off or 1 week off here or taking public holidays. People around me would be, like my family would be saying, just take a break or take this break, And it was really conflicting with what was, let's call it normal versus what I wanted to achieve. And that's where that real disconnect occurred. When I had this realization of that disconnect, it really occurred. It's like, well, if I'm going to do normal things, what normal people do, but I want extraordinary or abnormal results, that isn't actually in alignment with how things work. If you do what everyone else does, or the majority of people do, you're going to get what everybody else gets, or the majority of people actually get. And so through this discussion in my paid community, this was obviously what we spoke about when it was related to taking breaks. Should we work on holidays? Should we, check in? Should we just leave everything? Should we tell customers this? Should we even take holidays at all? And then of course, throughout the day to day, like what's normal in terms of working hard, or what is abnormal in terms of working hard? And the discussion went like, again, coming back to what I just mentioned before, it's about if you want normal results, work normal hours, work 9 to 5 and clock in and clock out, have no responsibility to anything else outside of that. If that's what you think you should do, right? But in my experience, and you'll hear people say, oh, work the 4-hour work week or, automate everything. And that's cool. That's true. But especially before you get to that 30, 40, 50K a month mark, when you've actually got people to help you and then obviously automations and systems in place where you've actually had the cash flow to implement those things, you need to work hard. Like there's actually no way to get around it. And this is, maybe there's a better way to do it, but this is my experience over 13 years, is you just have to work hard. And what you think is normal or acceptable, someone is outworking you, right? And so coming back to the main point of this within our discussion is, should I be working on holidays? Should be getting up early? Should I be working up late? And my short answer was yes. It's you do what is required to get the result, not the bare minimum or what the standard actually is, because you will be normal or subpar, certainly not achieving what you want to achieve or your goals with your business if you're just doing what everyone else is doing, or maybe even the minimum, right? Wanting that work-life balance when you haven't honestly earned it yet. And I don't mean from an effort perspective, I just mean from the market hasn't rewarded you yet, right? The market will reward you and tell you when you've earned it, okay? And it's not measured in years, right? It's actually measured in, say, your revenue goals. And if you haven't got your revenue goals yet, then you haven't properly earned it. So keep working and keep earning it. Now, I also wanted to touch on normal hours, let's call it. And again, within the holiday scheme or conversation as well, it's about, what is normal and what makes you feel comfortable. For me personally, I don't feel comfortable just leaving my business, to fend for itself. Of course, systems, people, things in place is really important. But, I physically need the check-in in the morning, have a good day with the family on the holidays, do whatever you want, boat trips, whatever, wherever, depends on where you are. And then check in, in the evening. That is my level of comfort. Now, from an outsider saying that's not normal, you need to switch off for, days or weeks at a a time, or even if my family members were not supportive of that, that really is detrimental to my progress and my mindset, because if I'm not doing those things, I actually feel less comfortable than if I was. Like, it's not actually inconvenience, it's actually ensuring that I can get the proper enjoyment and rest out of the break that I'm actually having. Okay, so you have to understand that if you're on an entrepreneurial endeavor, if you're an e-commerce entrepreneur, you're not normal in a good way. You want other things, you want more for your life and your family and what you're trying to actually build. And so don't succumb to normality or pressure of what is normal, because otherwise you're just going to get normal results. All right. So with that, it's the realization that you need to be better than normal and have your standards higher than normal and mediocre to get exponential, exceptional results. And then the other thing too is actually, with that realization, accepting what is right for you, right? So if you like working, if you want to work long hours, if you want to do no weekends, if you want to work on public holidays, which, most of us do, then do it, right? And just do what you actually enjoy. You're building for your bigger vision. That what is actually required to get to your end goal. Do that and be unapologetic about it, because you're the one that's going to reap the benefits, or if the shoe's on the other foot, you're the one that's actually going to suffer. Right? The thing with people who don't understand the entrepreneurial way of life, they're not supportive of that. They want you to come back to the fold, to be normal, to, I guess, have the same people in the same company that they can complain about their 9-to-5 jobs and, I can't wait for my next holiday. In my experience, it's not like that. I can't say I've ever had a bad day as an entrepreneur in my 13 years. There've been challenging days, 100%. There's been up and down days, but if I look back and say, I've had it, this is enough. I can't even really count them on one hand in 13 years, right? Whereas when I was in a 9-to-5, it was like almost every second day where I was like, I've got to do something else, right? If you're that sort of person, you've had that sort of itch before, then you know what I'm talking about there, right? So coming back to the original point of this video is, there's no normal. And in fact, if you're in the normal range, then don't be. Like, if you want exponential and extraordinary results, all right? So it's basically my I guess, hoping you will understand and resonate with this, and accepting that you aren't normal. And if you want abnormal results, you got to do abnormal things. You can work on weekends, and you should be allowed to if that's what is required. Same with holidays. Same with early mornings, late nights. Like, I just came off completing a brand new program for my ecom blueprint, and I did 6 weeks straight of like 16-hour days, getting up at 5, working, kids breakfast, working, kids dinner, working till 10 p.m. 5 a.m., 10 p.m. for 6 weeks straight. I worked most weekends there as well. Same light, right? That was what was required. And no one is going to be looking over my shoulder and making sure I do it or not. I just had to get that work done, get that program finished, and I did, and it felt amazing. Then I can have that downtime and it's guilt-free. Right. So you just have to understand, again, what's required. When it comes to work-life balance, I see work-life imbalance. Hard times, lower times, hard times, lower times, as in work hard, work low, right? So that's how you can operate. There's no normal way, no wrong way to go about it. All right. But what you can do is do yourself a favor and get rid of any guilt, any normalness, all right, any negative feelings about not being normal, because we're not. And that's actually what it takes to succeed, in my experience and what I observe day in, day out with e-com entrepreneurs. All right. So that's just a really friendly message, and hopefully it resonates and gives you some gratification as well, that, if you are working other hours or not taking holidays, not doing this, see it as a good thing, right? See it as a good thing that you're doing what's required to get to where you want to go. All right. So hope that helps. Hope that was valuable for you. If it is, of course, give it a like, love and subscribe, because I'm producing videos like this all the time, just sharing my journey, sharing what people are doing in my communities, how they're winning, strategies and stuff like that. And I'd love you to be a part of the journey as well. So if you made it this far in the video, thanks for being here. Really appreciate you. And I'll catch you in the next video.